When most of us talk about being fit, we think about how far we can run or how fast. We talk about how much we can lift. We talk about our body fat percentage, our lean mass. But if you were to ask a physiologist what single number best captures your fitness and long-term health, they'll say it's your VO2 max, your maximum oxygen uptake, how efficiently your body can use oxygen during intense exercise. It's been shown to predict risk of heart disease, diabetes, even overall mortality. In fact, the American Heart Association has proposed treating it like a vital sign, right alongside things like your blood pressure. The problem is that measuring VO2 max properly isn't easy. In the lab, you need to run on a treadmill or cycle at increasing intensities until exhaustion, all while wearing a mask that measures your breath. It's accurate, but it's also expensive. It's time-consuming, and it's not something we can do at a population level. Maximal exertional tests will never be a standard part of your checkup with your GP or doctor. Wearables like Apple Watch take a different approach. Instead of pushing you to the limit in all-out exercise, they measure how your heart responds during submaximal exercise, going for a brisk walk, running, or hiking. They then combine that heart rate data with things like your age, your sex, your height and weight, and GPS information conveying your speed and distance, running it through a proprietary prediction model to estimate your VO2 max. On paper, it's a very practical solution, but does it hold up against the gold standard, lab-based exercise testing? To find out, we recruited 40 healthy young adults and had them each generate a VO2 max estimate with an Apple Watch Series 10 running the latest algorithm. Then each completed a treadmill cardiopulmonary exercise test with indirect calorimetry, the gold standard for measuring VO2 max. Now, to count as a true VO2 max, participants had to meet strict criteria during the tests. They had to get close to their age-predicted maximal heart rate, they had to reach a high respiratory exchange ratio, we needed to see a plateau in their oxygen consumption, and they had to have a high perceived exertion during the test. And what did we find? Well, when we crunched the numbers, the Apple Watch systematically underestimated VO2 max. On average, the difference was about 6 milliliters of oxygen per kilogram per minute. To put that in context, that's often enough to shift someone down by an entire fitness category. The error margin was around 13%, which is considerably higher than the roughly 5% error typically reported for lab testing. Just have a look at this Blond-Altman analysis, which showed wide limits of agreement, meaning that for some individuals, the watch was close, but for others, it was off by quite a bit. In practical terms, it performed more like traditional submaximal prediction equations than like a precise physiological measurement. So why did this happen? Several factors play a role. Heart rate response to exercise varies widely between people. It's influenced by genetics, by training background, and even by daily factors like caffeine or stress. The watch has to extrapolate from moderate exercise up to maximal capacity, and that extrapolation amplifies the error. Environmental factors matter too. Essentially, the context in which the prediction was generated can itself be a source of noise. Things like the terrain, the weather at the time, and even the contact the watch sensor had with the skin can all introduce error. And because the algorithm is proprietary, we don't know exactly how to weigh each input. So what does this mean for users? Well, it's like we've said in our other videos evaluating the accuracy of various wearables for measuring different health outcomes. If you're tracking general trends, say whether your fitness is improving over months of training, Apple Watch can provide useful feedback. But if you need an exact number, whether for clinical care or scientific research, our findings would suggest caution. A difference of 6 milliliters per kilogram per minute is not trivial. It could influence risk stratification or research outcomes. Now, this study does have some limitations. Our participants were young and generally fit, so results may differ in older or clinical populations, but it also has strengths. We used the newest device and software, we applied rigorous criteria for measuring VO2 max in the lab, and we analysed the results using statistical methods that are generally recommended by experts in this field. The broader picture is this: wearables have enormous potential for monitoring health at scale, but that potential depends on validation. Without it, we risk basing decisions on numbers that feel precise but aren't. In time, with larger and more diverse data sets and transparent methods, these devices could approach clinical accuracy. For now, though, they should be seen as companions, not substitutes for gold standard testing.